The Tour de France is the ultimate testing ground for cycling tech, and watching the world's best riders fly up mountains on the latest superbikes, it's enough to make any of us want to raid our savings. But here's the hard truth. What makes Tadej Pogačar or Demi Vollering fast can actually make the rest of us slower and more uncomfortable and significantly poorer. As we head into the 2026 race, pro tech has become even more extreme. And here are 12 of the current Tour de France tech trends that you should absolutely not copy if you want to enjoy your Sunday club run. The latest flagship race bikes are longer, lower, and stiffer, because that's what the pros asked for. They are young, they have good core strength, they're flexible, and generally they have very light upper bodies, meaning that they can ride in a radically slammed position for 6 hours or more. You might not have youth, or a strong core, good flexibility, or the light upper body, so copying the pros' riding positions maybe just not a great idea. For the average rider, forcing your body into that shape just leads to lower back pain, neck strain, and a numb backside. And endurance or all-road geometry could actually make you faster on long rides because you won't be in agony. But this is actually a weird one, because some pros are also moving away from the slam stem tradition. In fact, lots of pros are adopting higher front ends for extra comfort in their aero position, and it's easy to spot. Just look out for a stack of spacers under a rider's stem. Ooh, this can be a bad one. Don't jump in at the deep end of a massive carb intake. Pros are now consuming up to 120 grams of carbs per hour using highly engineered hydrogels and specialized drinks mixes. This is essential when you're burning 5,000 calories a day at threshold. Try doing this on a casual weekend ride, however, and you're likely to end up with a severe case of what we'll call gastrointestinal distress. You're gonna shit yourself. Your stomach needs to be specifically trained to absorb that much sugar under intense activity. For most fitness rides, real food like bananas, flapjacks, and standard sports drinks work beautifully. For example, Stroop waffles are my go-to ride snack right now. Give them a try. Look at the top GC riders' bikes and you might notice something. Some of them have little to no paint, and there is one very good reason for this: weight. Take Pogačar's Y1 RS. He rode a specially stripped down bike for last year's mountain time trial, and he hasn't looked back since. His Colnago sits a little bit above the UCI's 6.8 kilo weight limit, and it's all in an effort to get the machine as light as possible, so the paint just has to go. But it's not just the leaders who have been given this treatment. Isaac Del Toro, Pog's key domestique at this year's race, he also has a stripped down bike. Now, depending on your taste, this is either really cool or very boring, and getting this finish on your own bike could cost more than you think. So, unless you're a super speedy hill climber, sanding off your paint is just not gonna help. Shimano Dura-Ace, SRAM Red Access, and Campagnolo's Super Record wireless group sets are absolutely lovely to use and look at. And to be honest, they're not going to break the bank too badly if you want to go out and buy them. But when the wear parts wear out, as wear parts do, replacing them can be shockingly expensive. Take a SRAM Red cassette, for example. £375 for a new one of those, and if you've been all fancy and followed the latest trend of one-buy drivetrains, to be all aero, that cassette is £600. £600! Now, the performance gap between these top-end group sets and mid-tier group sets like Shimano Ultegra 105, it's never been smaller, and besides a bit of weight difference, going premium here, it's not going to provide you with much of a performance boost at all. Save your money and spend it on tyres. But not these tyres. We've seen the trend for a few years now of teams running featherweight, ultra supple time trial tyres for regular road stages, and it's just to go faster. And it does make a difference. Hard data from bicyclerolling-resistance.com shows that with these tyres, you will save a handful of watts. But there's always a catch. These tyres have tread so thin that you can practically see through it, and they completely lack puncture protection. In a pro race, a flat tyre means a fresh wheel from the team car in hopefully 20 seconds. On your local ride, it means sitting in a hedge in the rain probably, struggling with tyre levers and a mini pump. If it goes really wrong and you slash your delicate tyre, which you really can do, you'll be waiting for a lift from your significant other, and they'll probably be quite annoyed that you've ruined their Sunday. There are loads of great tyres out there, GP5000s, Vittoria Corsa Pros. Stick with them. The trend of turning brake hoods drastically inwards to create a narrow aerodynamic hand position is now heavily regulated by the UCI, but pros still push it to the absolute limit. Now, turning in your hoods excessively can, for some people, make their bike handle in a very weird way. However, done correctly, this is a pro setup tip that can actually improve comfort, and if you can ride with that narrower front end for more than a minute, it'll actually make you faster too. The reason that we have it on our list of things not to simply copy blindly is that making this change is best done with professional help and a core stability plan. So seek the help of a bike fitter and get ready to do some yoga. Otherwise, it can be a pointless change. The pros are routinely turning 54 or even 56 tooth outer chainrings paired with a single ring setup for flat stages. They need the monster gears because they are averaging 50 kilometers per hour in the valleys and sprinting at silly speeds. But it's not all to do with maximizing the size of their gears. Riders use big chainrings for drivetrain efficiency. Firstly, keeping the chain towards the middle of the cassette is best for chainline efficiency, but single chainring setups can also be a little bit better for aerodynamics. However, when it comes to hour riding, we're talking about some pretty inconsequential savings. If you do bolt a 56 tooth single chainring to your bike, you will simply run out of gears the moment the road points upwards, forcing you to grind up climbs at a knee-cracking cadence. Just stick to a compact or a semi-compact setup. Pro bikes are packed with ceramic bearings in the bottom brackets, the hubs, the headset, the jockey wheels, and they'll put them anywhere they can. And that is just to chase every fraction of a watt. What the marketing glosses over is that the high-end ceramic bearings require meticulous, frequent servicing, especially if you ride in all weather, and they are prone to contamination from the grit and the rain that comes on real roads. They can also cost a small fortune, which, when put up against their small gains, make them a hard upgrade to recommend. Good quality steel bearings are far more durable, they're much cheaper, and realistically, they're just going to be as fast for us non-professionals. An integrated carbon handlebar and stem looks beautifully clean and saves a tiny bit of aero drag, but it can make bike fitting a nightmare. Now, if you need to change your stem length by 10 millimeters, say, or adjust your bar width, you have to buy a completely new, incredibly expensive one-piece unit and completely reroute all of your hydraulic cables. Now, to me, that's a great way to spend an evening, but you might be able to think of better ways to spend a Friday night. Regardless, fit is absolutely massive for your comfort on the bike, so I wouldn't compromise with whatever sizing the brand has chosen for your bike size. Get a bike fit and work out what you actually need. Unless you get very lucky, traditional separate bars and stems are infinitely more practical. Though I will admit that I do love the look of those integrated front ends. Teams love running 60mm deep wheels on almost any stage that isn't a pure mountain pass. They look fast and sound amazing, but they can be quite a handful in the real world. Now, if you live anywhere with unpredictable weather, a sudden gust of crosswind on a descent will catch a deep front wheel like a sail, pushing you about quite a bit. It can be unnerving. If you're not used to riding super deep wheels, a versatile 45mm depth gives you plenty of aero benefit without all of that stressful handling. And we'll finish with one that is almost unavoidable if you want a new bike these days. Every single modern race bike hides the hoses under their headset. While it looks sleek, it means a basic headset bearing replacement, which used to take about 10 minutes, now requires disconnecting the hydraulic brakes, bleeding the system, and threading lines through the bar. If you do your own bike maintenance, I'd say look for frames that still offer sensible, kind of semi-integrated routing, where the cables enter just below the stem. But these are few and far between now, so you might just have to bite the bullet on this one. Regardless, let me know which of these things you do on your bike and which you would avoid. There are 5 new bikes at this year's Tour de France. That video's just up there. And if you want to see if the new Tarmac SL9 is any better than the old SL8, just check out that video.